Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope that you're starting to see how all of these different initiatives you all are part of are starting to come together into a comprehensive plan. And I know that depending on your role or depending on your district or depending on your higher ed institution, you may not be seeing it this way. You may not be seeing it as a systemic solution. And I think that, and especially in our region, we really want to position you to see how much is going on, how many people are committed to this, trying to connect you to resources so that you can be part of that story, and then also position you to start helping us tell the story, because the more we can tell a story about the fact that Milwaukee is doing great things, just like Janice was saying, like our region is doing great things. We want to all be ambassadors of that story, so that we can encourage students to start to take notice and to get involved. So that's really what I wanted to lead off with. So now I got to see if I can bring this up again. So are you able to see this screen?
Indeed we are.
I want to, honestly, like mine, when I present, it always brings me back to the beginning in Google. Like in PowerPoint, I can go right to this slide. Anyone have a suggestion? No? I'm gonna, because otherwise I have to start from the beginning, which is stupid, but. So let me just start here. I wanted to be able to show it to you in full screen. So really, this is some of the things you've heard about today. And so again, now many of you do know me. I started off in industry. I then worked in the nonprofit sector. Then I assisted at the New Berlin School District for a while. And then I moved to higher ed. And now I'm working for the Milwaukee Tech Coalition. And so while I'm not an educator, I have at least I know enough to be dangerous about how some of these things fit together. And I think you're going to continue to hear this. So I don't want to spend a lot of time with you on this, because I think that Kelly's presentation is going to drive this point home. But essentially, when you look over on the right, all of us, if you're here and you care about this topic, all you want is for the student at the end of their education career to be able to say, you know what, I am ready. I am ready for whatever life throws at me. And that's college and career readiness, or future ready. There's a lot of different terms for it, but that's what we want for students. And so that starts with just identifying what you want your graduate to look like. What skills and attributes and dispositions do you want them to be able to embody? And that's at the high school level, but that's also at the college level. It doesn't matter at what point they're leaving you. Having an idea of what you want them to know and be able to do is critical. And so we talked a little bit in one of the small groups about general education requirements. That's where we get at, well, that means that everyone will get it, not just the kid in a computer science class. But what is it that, or one elective or one major, but what do we want for all students? And then from there comes into, well, then what does it look like from a curriculum and instruction basis? Who's responsible for that? And how do we align curriculum instruction to that graduate profile? At the K-12 level, we're also talking about early college programming, and that takes different, depending on where the students are starting, that takes a lot of different examples to be able to show, like, what is early college for someone that's in a suburban district versus an urban district versus a rural district. Those options look different. Their starting points look different. Their end points look different. But it has to be regionalized and also localized to make sure that we're starting kids at the right level and bringing them all the way through the pathways like Eric was talking about. Academic and career planning, I'm especially passionate about, because I've seen the impact of it when it's done well. And so I think it's really, really important that we're telling kids about what it is that they should be searching out for, putting them as strong advocates of their education. Regional career pathways allows a student to say, I have a general interest in something, to take a deeper dive. And redefining ready, which is something that many of you have been exposed to, is the way in which we measure whether or not our systems are doing the things that we say they're doing. And we're measuring that, and it makes a difference because we can see it. And at the end of the day, we know that public policy makes a difference, and we know that partners make a difference. So I've only listed a few of the ones that we're working with to try to execute. I know that there's many of you on the call today that are like, what about me? Know that I see you. There's only so much room on the slide. and that we're working with you because we believe that you are instrumental to making this happen, making this work. And the only one story I have to share today, because it bothered me yesterday, is we had a district that shared how the implementation of the best intentions can somehow go awry. And so the example was that their district indicated that because of the Act 59, where you get money if you get a certification, and you didn't get a certification out of a computer science class, but you did if you taught your kids Word, that they were instructed to remove computer science so that the students could get a Word certification to get the Act 59 funding. This is an example of where public policy and execution goes awry. And so that's why I had to put that public policy comment on there, because we have to look for when it's not working and then advocate for a change. I don't think anyone intended for that outcome, but I just had to share that. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to Kelly, because I'm excited to hear her go through what they're doing in New Berlin.
All right, Kelly, you should be all good.
Can everybody see okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. And Laura was a big part of everything that I'm presenting today. So Laura, feel free to chime in if you have anything that you'd like to add to. There's a little bit about our objectives. I'm going to talk quick, so you can read these in the attachments later, but I'm here to talk a little bit about how we connected the dots in our journey. It starts with our strategic plan, and like many of the districts who are on the call today, everything goes back to the strategic plan. So when you look at the top circle, one of our goals is to increase student performance to ensure all students are prepared for success in college, career, and future opportunities. And we couldn't do that without being responsible to our community fiscally, and also fostering an organization and a work environment that attracts talent, retains talent, thrives on innovation, as well as partners within the community, post-secondary, and our businesses. So when you hear about all these different pieces, they're very intentional and they go back to our strategic plan. This really started in 2012. Our superintendent, Joe Garza, was a part of a joint legislative committee that was talking about the importance of academic and career planning for all students in grades 6 through 12 in the state of Wisconsin. And instead of waiting for the state to initiate the academic and career planning plan and giving us guidance in the school district of New Berlin, we just decided to jump right in because we thought it was really important and begin that work immediately. So around that time, Laura Schmidt joined the district, I joined the district. Joe Garza and our Board of Education had a very clear vision about what they wanted a college and career graduate to look like. And we started on that journey with principals, counselors, and then a few teachers. So you can see throughout the years, we've added academic and career planning plan through advisory. I'll talk a little bit more about that, mentorship, different courses, all the way to now having students reflect on their activities and goals and determine what they need for post-secondary success. We started with the vision of our graduate, defining what are the key skills, knowledge, activities, outcomes we wanted for our students K through 12, and then what happens when they graduate. One of the key components that's in the vision of our graduate is technological literacy. And then we defined what that means for the school district of New Berlin, and you can see our definition on the screen. If you want more information around technological literacy, you can go to that link, but really we felt it was important for all of our students to be able to understand what it means to be a technological literate student and adult, and how they can help shape their future because of it. It's also in our Education for Employment plan. So that's something that the state requires, PI 26. And within the Education for Employment plan is also a requirement to do academic and career planning. And when I say requirement, it's really a privilege to do that for all of our students because it's helping their future. When I say academic and career planning, what does that all entail? So it really means when we started delving into our work and we said we wanted all of our students to do academic and career planning, we had to define that. So when I say we, like Laura said earlier, it really was a vision by district leadership. And then we had to get people on board because it's a really we conversation between our teachers, our families, our students, and our building leaders. So we knew in order to do academic and career planning effectively and encouraging students to plan for after high school or even the next year if they're in middle school, we knew we needed a mentorship system, career and service-based learning. We needed to define what their core coursework looks like, what kind of elective coursework was going to allow our students to explore, what kind of co-curriculars or career and technical student organizations do we have and which ones do we want to add? What kind of experiential learning experiences do we have in middle school and high school as well as elementary? And what kind of industry credentials are we going to offer? Just what Laura just said, the Act 59. Which areas are we going to offer a certificate and which areas are we not going to? And then how are we aligning all of our pathways and what we're doing to post-secondary alignment? We quickly realized we could not do this on our own and we needed input from some experts, which I'll talk about in a minute. If you're interested in our academic and career planning sequence of events for students in grades 6 through 12, it's in our academic and career planning guide. You can go to nbexcellence.org and just search academic ACP guide and it'll pop up. And there it is right now. So we do have defined outcomes for each grade level for them to be able to really engage in some experiences that will allow them to ask themselves the right questions about where do I want to go and how am I going to get there? Here's an example of some of the career development sequences and activities that we've had to develop K6 all the way through 9-12 to create a sustainable and systematic ACP process and get students ready to be college and career ready. So you can see Junior Achievement BizTown at the elementary, an introduction to academic and career planning at the elementary, career days at the secondary, experiential learning opportunities, etc. So when I said we needed to get input from others before we began to think about what kind of experiences we wanted our students to have at secondary, we had different focus groups. We had a manufacturing focus group, we had a computer science IT focus group, we had a healthcare focus group, we had focus groups with our families, with our students, with our teachers. We got a lot of input before we decided what kind of direction to go. Workforce development, M7, lots of readings. So first we used networking to help us decide where our vision and then what are our next steps. So from those next steps, we decided to add a technical wheel for 7th grade students, which students go through this experience and they get experiences with graphic design, innovation, engineering, some robots, some computer science. So they get that experiences in 7th grade. We also made sure we had enough computer science electives. And then we did use input from others, but also local computer science teachers to be able to give us input on which knowledge and skills are important to create a sustainable pathway. We just recently added, like I said earlier, cybersecurity for next year. We also added a Cyber Patriot Club that's been highly successful at New Berlin West. So in addition to courses, we did add some clubs as well. Here's an example of different computer science coursework that we offer again in our ACP guide. We also added a whole career and service-based learning programming sequence. So anything going from job shadow all the way through a youth apprenticeship and a co-op. And we added an interdisciplinary course for students with the help of the Commons, thank you, Joe, and UWM, the Entrepreneurship Lubar Center. that's really a capstone for multiple different pathways. And within all of those different challenges that the students engage in this advanced innovation and design class, there's a technology component to it. So aligning back to the vision of our graduate, knowing how it's important for students to be technological literate, that was one of our requirements for the different challenge statements. We added in 2018 a data science AI pathway, and that includes some of the courses that are included are how machines work. So when you think about machine learning and how machines use data, how manufacturing companies use data, predictive data, that's included in that course. AP Computer Science Principles, UW-Milwaukee partnership. This last year, we added a course. It's called Introduction to Statistical Computing and Data Science. One of our math teachers actually teaches it, and they used R. And on the right, you're going to see a student graph where they actually used, we have solar panels on our roofs, New Berlin West and New Berlin Eisenhower, as well as Ronald Reagan. And they actually use the data that We Energies gives us, and they use it to do some predictive analysis through R. So it's pretty neat. We use some problem cases in the community, and they learn data through that. And then we have a STEM camp focus where we also add some of these themes for some of our younger students in 4th through 8 to join in. We have intentional pathways. So Eric was talking about the regional pathways. This is connected to that work. We advertise them in our ACP guide, as well as in different flyers, different posters in classrooms, the importance of taking aligned coursework, exploring, joining different CTSO or organizations, earning a credential. Some of our pathways have more credentials than other, and then also completing a internship, YA, mentorship, job shadow. Here's an example of how it's advertised in our ACP guide. We also have different videos that we've created, both to help us partner with businesses, as well as help us market to families and students the importance of computer science, technology, why a student might want to engage in this pathway. And that helps with our equity work, as well as engaging in higher numbers within these pathways, but also creating an importance and awareness of the why, as we've been talking about, why offering computer science, why offering these different technological strands. And I think that's really important if you're going to go down this path, to be really purposeful with your communication and your PR plan. I won't play that for you today because I want to be mindful of time, but know it's available for you to click on. Also, part of our elective strand was to add, with the help of a Fast Forward grant, a techno help desk area. So we have computer programming strand, we have the data science strand, we're starting to build this cybersecurity strand, but we have this IT service strand as well. We have 2,400 Chromebooks in the district. We have even more iPads when you think of our K-6 students. We also have over 50 students who are student technicians, and they work during the day and they learn on the job and how to fix some of the computers. They help our staff, they help our students. If you want more information on how it's run and some advertising, you can go to the website. And then we also have, like I talked about, the purposeful marketing community nights, whether it's the academic and career planning nights, where we do different sessions for parents where they can learn more about the labor market outlook. They can learn more about topics like Industry 4.0. Sometimes we invite post-secondary partners and businesses to come in to help us present. So I talked a lot about the different secondary courses, the post-secondary connections. Sometimes we're not able to offer courses on our campus with our teachers because they're not certified. And so we have partners like MSOE, UW-Milwaukee, Marquette University, who've been very gracious and great partners in offering us some of those teachers, or allowing our students to take courses there, WCTC, through either Start College Now, Early College Credit Program, or having our own partnership agreements to really broaden those pathways and make sure that they're really like K-20, K post-secondary pathways for our students. But those are just some of the students who elect to do those pathways. So what do we have for all of our students? We decided it was important, like I said before, through our vision of a graduate, that all of our students are engaging in those important standards and activities. So we took the new Wisconsin DPI, Information Technology and Literacy Wisconsin standards, and we said, okay, which standards are we going to measure at each grade level because they fit within our curriculum, K through 8, and then 9th, 10th, 11th grade, of which 12th grade too, of which courses all students take, and how can we embed them in our curriculum and create very purposeful and innovative experiences for students, where then teachers can then measure if they've met or not met these standards. And so that's been our work the last 2 to 3 years, and that's now on their report card as well as a met or not met. We also have had some shared learning with our teachers. We have great digital coaches within the school district of New Berlin. We have 2 of them, and they've really engaged some of our staff through design thinking work and making work around a lot of topics, but this book being one of them, this robot proof book, and really diving into this book and trying to understand what is technological literacy, data literacy, and human literacy, and why is it important for us as K-12 to help prepare our students for the next level. So these are the definitions of technological literacy. It's the awareness and use of technology to solve problems. And so we're really empowering our teachers to think about that and how could they change their instruction based off of their outcomes that we've defined to really engage our students in these definitions. Data literacy, and then also human literacy. So the empathetic connections, and sometimes that's where design thinking and that passion begins with our students to want to solve a problem and include back to data literacy or technological literacy to help them get there and to help them solve the problem. And so these are some slides that our digital coaches and our district leadership have used with these teams to be able to understand making experiences as well as the innovative designer process. And they've used some books like Launch to help get there. And so then that's great. I've talked to you a little bit about some elective and then core coursework and core instruction and professional development that we've had for our staff. But then how do we measure technological literacy? We have a great college and career ready framework that came out of our vision of the graduate work. If you heard of AASA, the Superintendent's Organization of Redefining Ready, where students are more than an ACT score, and it's important to encourage your students to know more about predictors of success post-secondary. We've defined what that looks like for the school district of New Berlin, and what are our academic indicators, our career indicators, and our life ready indicators. And this is also part of our academic and career plan and our communication process for parents as well. So to help understand, for students to understand what they might want to engage with within their 4 years of high school, and we're working on middle school and elementary right now, to be better prepared for post-secondary. So right now on the left column for Life Ready, we're going to add next year the technological literacy standards that I talked about, the met or not met. We had to wait a few years to be able to add that. So we had an average for them to meet that 3.0 average, like you see the positive dispositions, and that would be very much like our employability skills or our soft skills when you look at that indicator right there. So you can see the arrow where it will be. We also track this. This helps us with our strategic plan each year and what areas we need to focus on. So it's really exciting for us that we'll have the technological literacy standards right here for not only our students to achieve to, but also our district to thrive towards and create some goals based off of. We also celebrate our students who focus on computer science as well as technology, and we recognize their talent. So we advertise NC WIT starting in August, September. If you're not familiar with that organization, it's great for some females to really encourage females in 9th through 12th grade to get involved in tech as well as to celebrate them. We We use a couple different publications to celebrate our success, our annual report that comes out every August, September, as well as an Edge, which is a publication, New Berlin Edge, more frequently, where we celebrate successes like industry credentials, internships. We showcase some of the great problems that our students are working on. And then new this year, we've had tech honors since 2013, and that's where we celebrate students who've taken multiple courses successfully within a pathway. And we have computer science IT as one of those pathways. This year, if they've received tech honors, not only do they get recognized at our senior honors night, they also get to wear silver cords at graduation. So I do think that's important to recognize the individual student and celebrate by communications of students too. So I'm not sure if we have time for any questions. I don't think so, but feel free to email me, call me, get my phone number from Laura.
Well, Kelly, you're going to have a breakout room.
Awesome.
So I feel like we can do some questions there. And you're going to give us just a couple of minutes ahead of schedule. So a little bit longer breakout room will not be the worst thing in the world. Yeah. So thank you so much, Kelly. Laura, if there's some transition here.
I think our next, what we'd like to do is have each of our higher education institutions that volunteered to speak, just talk a little bit about what they're doing in their own institution to be able to support students across multiple pathways to understand, the value of technological literacy.
Yeah, we have Liz Taylor from MSOE is up first, and then Susan, Julie, and Matt from UWM, followed by Thomas from Marquette. So Liz, I will...
And each of them will also have a breakout room, because we know we've asked them just to keep it at a high level so that you could join them and talk a little bit more about their pathways if you'd like.
Yeah. All right. And Joe, is it okay if I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. You all off of there?
Yep, you're good.
All good.
Sweet. Thanks, everyone. So hi, I'm Liz Taylor from MSOE, and I have 5 minutes and I will stick to it. I'm going to focus on this time primarily on our collegiate programs because I am our director of STEM. Everything K through 12 I can speak in depth to. So if you want to learn more about that, more than I'll cover in here, please join me in the breakout rooms. For those of you who aren't familiar with MSOE, we're a small university located downtown. We have about 2,800 students, and we offer a lot of different programs. Engineering, as the name implies, but actuarial science, business, nursing, UX, computer science, and of course, in the context of what we're all talking about today, while we have a number of undergraduate programs, these 4 are probably the best ones aligned to what we're all centered here around today. So computer science and engineering, software engineering, and then our UX program as well. And I know the program director is here on the call today. So Nadia, feel free to chat in if I totally misrepresent anything.
You're doing fine.
And anything, overview sheets for each of these programs, which is a sheet that shows all of the courses students typically take in these programs, is available on the shared Google Drive that Commons and Tech Hub put together for today. So if you want to see what each course looks like in depth, you're more than welcome to check that out. But at a high level, a question that we get a lot, especially from high school students that come and do programs with us, is what's the difference between computer science, computer engineering, and software engineering? They all sound pretty familiar or similar, excuse me. I won't read through all this, but high level CE is focusing really on those things you can touch and feel. So sensors, blending electronics with back-end coding. Software are focusing on the things that might interact with that hardware. So design development of software products. And then CS, which is what a lot of people have been hearing about, I think, in recent years with the building of Derrick's Hall and a new program we added a few years ago, is our CS program really focuses on data science and artificial intelligence. And I'll show some photos of Derrick's Hall in a little bit, which really has allowed us to do some cool things in those programs. All the program directors want me to share that there is some moderate overlap. There's a lot of coursework if you look at each of those course sheets that look very familiar and similar. And all the programs at MSOE have a low faculty to student ratio, and we really focus on hands-on real-world problem sets. There's a whole department here at MSOE, the Create Institute, that is focused on working with organizations in the Milwaukee community and beyond to bring those projects into the classroom. I am going to share a few of the UX program slides because this is one program that I talk about a lot with our coding club students, primarily because they never have heard of it, or if they've heard about it, they don't necessarily understand what exactly UX is. So, and again, Nadia, feel free to chime in, but it refers to any touch point the user has with technology. So when we look at some of the highlights within the UX programs here at MSOE, this might be things like screen-based user interfaces. Derek's Hall has brought on a lot more capability for us to do work in virtual reality and augmented reality. But the other thing a lot of students get really hyped up about is that focus on the word user. What are we as users experiencing? What's the psychology behind those elements? And here's some highlights on the curriculum as well. Again, the whole program course sheet is available in the Google Drive. And maybe Nadia, if you'd be willing to join me in my breakout room if people have questions too any further. And I saw her nod yes, so she'll be in there with me. And these are just some quick highlights of Derek's Hall, which is our new computational science hall. Rosie on the bottom right, which is our supercomputer, and that's Dwight and Diane. Dwight's an alumni and works at NVIDIA. Has given a lot of that computational oomph and power to the computer science program. It's also brought on a bunch of really high-tech spaces that amplify our CS programs, but also all of our majors really center around this effective use of technology. So one of my favorite pieces in the building is in the center, one of our faculty members using our anatomage table. So where typically our nursing program might need to use human cadavers to do different work in their coursework, you can now do that without a human cadaver and do it all in a digital space through that table. So lastly, how can your students engage now? So Kelly talked a little bit about the Early College Credit Program, or ECCP. That is our program for offering those college courses for high school level students. So feel free to go to that webpage. You can see the full course listing as well as deadlines for that program if you're interested. And then with my 10 seconds to go, STEM outreach, that is what I can talk about all day, every day. Please come into the breakout room if you want to talk more about it. But we have a new revamped website. The program I'll plug real quick is our STEM on-site program where we can bring 1 to 2 hour hands-on activities to you, or your students can come here. It's for kindergartners all the way through seniors in high school. And AI is one of the programs that we can bring there, as well as some of our other programs as well. So I'll stop there and we should chat more in the breakout rooms. Plug that a lot.
That was a good sell. I opened that up earlier as like, hey, you can start to try to solicit people to join your breakout room. Good tip right there. And thank you. I'm going to remove your spotlight and now the crew from UWM. So I've got here Julie Walker.
You also have me, Susan McCroy.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I have the slides. So do you want me to start?
Perfect. Yeah, you'll be able to share.
Okay, I'm looking for the screen share thing.
Green button in the middle of the Zoom.
Oh, okay, I see it. Sorry. Yeah, I should, here we go. Oh, okay. I have to say, we've been used Teams locally, so I hope you can
we are all good. Yes.
See my slides, because I'm going to go into whatever recording, so you should be able to see it big now. So thank you so much for inviting us to participate in this event today. I'm Susan McCroy. I'm a professor and chair of computer science at UWM. I also, my area of expertise is actually artificial intelligence and natural language processing and user interface kind of stuff. So I'm really interested to follow on from the MSOE folks. And I also want to call out my colleagues from School of Information Studies, where we also teach computing. Julie Walker and Matt should be here somewhere. But let's move on. UWM. My 5 minutes here, I'm going to try and give you the idea of the breadth, because we have a lot of it. Starting, at the non-degree program, starting at the pre-college level. We do, of course, help with the College for Kids summer programs, but we also during the school year have something called Girls Who Code, which is an after school program for, it's designed originally for women, but we actually have a secret cohort of men who participate as well in a separate room. And it teaches the basics of coding and web development, and also just a little bit about career options over the course of a school year. People come in and they work with, typically graduate students do the instructing, and it's really a lot of fun. We also do meals because I don't know, food makes, everybody likes pizza. Also at the pre-college level, that's in person. I mean, when it's not a pandemic. We also have an online resource through the School of Information Studies that's called the Discovery site. And if you go to the Drive folder that Laura put together, you'll see a handout. And this is an online resource that is meant to help students, let's say at the high school level, who are thinking about careers, thinking about what they want to do in university, to get familiar with some emerging topics related to computer science and information technology and AI and cybersecurity and all those things. And they have a little incentive there that if you complete enough of the video modules and the quizzes and things that have been put together, it's really quite engaging. They also can earn a scholarship towards enrollment in information science and technology. Okay, a new thing here that I put the little asterisk is UWM. We call it something else. We call it dual enrollment, but that is where introductory computer science courses, similar to computer science principles and similar to an intro to programming, we are teaching those through collaboration with the Kettle Moraine School District this past school year. And so they will earn UWM credit, similar kind of thing that you just heard with MSOE. Okay, for students who are already enrolled at UWM, we offer a number of different things that are, again, not full degree programs, but a way to sort of add something on to another interest. So there are full minors, which are credits taken within a single discipline, in either in computer science or information science and technology. And we also have a lot of different certificates, which mix courses from different ones. And I just put in the one that's most related to computing here, which is the web development certificate. That particular one is all online. So students who are also working, and a lot of our students do support themselves, could take that one as well. And there are other options that I think the school also has a minor and a certificate that would be relevant to someone who is interested in computing. At the graduate level, we have two related certificate programs. Again, that can be done either as part of a graduate program, or somebody who's already graduated who wants to just come back and enrich their skills. And that includes an AI and machine learning certificate, which is not quite launched. We're looking for probably January 2022. And currently, that is just starting now, is a new graduate certificate in cybercrime forensics that is housed in the School of Information Studies. And that sounds really interesting. Okay. Moving on to degree programs, I'm just going to work my way up. So like at the undergraduate level, we have a wide number of choices. Unlike Madison, we don't have them all in one school at this point. We have them around campus, but that really does offer students who are coming from whatever school they're in a lot of opportunities to combine computing with other interests they may have. And I've listed them here on the slide sort of in order of flexibility. So at the BA in computer science, you have the most opportunity to add in, let's say, an extra minor or a certificate. You also have your information studies bachelor's, which again allows a lot of electives, so that if you have a complementary interest in political science or economics, you can bring it in. And then in the business school, there's the information technology management. As you go down the slide, you get things that are more technical, more computer science or computer engineering methods, or more math. Okay, and it's always a trade-off, right? I talk to national employers, and there's some that are looking for a great deal of technical skill, and there's some that are looking for more soft skills, being able to communicate the ideas, being able to, explain a project, being able to acquire requirements. And so we cover this full span at UWM. At the graduate level, we offer, again, a number of different options. None of these actually require you to have the undergraduate degree in that field. So you could combine it. We have, for example, a master's in computer science. Okay, it's good either for upgrading a computer scientist, or for, honestly, we've had a lot of people who come from different disciplines. For whatever reason, we seem to get a fair number from theater. They have to do a little work to prepare, but I have to tell you, some of the most interesting work. I had a master's student this past spring who's now at NASA, and she did some amazing work on trying to help detect whether something is an exoplanet, and she's also been interested in pulsars and other kinds of things. And so it was an interesting way of presenting that. And so she's dealt with some image data that's quite interesting. We similarly have a Master of Information Science and Technology. And again, there's a combination of the technical skill with opportunities to kind of bring in your prior interests. Beyond the master's level, we are an R1 research institution, and so we do offer doctoral programs. And we have, again, several choices at that level of different amounts of interdisciplinarity. Okay, so we offer a PhD in engineering with a concentration in computer science. That's, you know, either geared towards people who are doing advanced research at places like Apple and eBay and whatever, or people who want to teach. Okay, there's a PhD in information studies. Again, it opens up either faculty type things or high-end industry type work. Okay, our most interdisciplinary choice, in fact, it has courses taken from 6 different schools and colleges, and also the Medical College of Wisconsin sometimes, is a PhD in biomedical and health informatics. And you know, that's actually unique in the state. So it combines aspects of computing with aspects taught at the graduate level to bring in the healthcare, the data analytics, those kinds of things, databases it is probably, I'm also chair for that, so I probably shouldn't, you know, say much more. I'd be happy to talk more in the breakout room. Okay.
Yeah, Susan, I'll need to cut you off there.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, if you've got a last word to share on your last slide, that would be totally cool.
Okay, so we're doing a lot for diversity. I thought I only had used up 3 minutes here, so I was confused. Okay, so closing thoughts. Okay, we have a lot of pre-college opportunities. We have a lot of things, and while that's good, I want people to know it's never too late to get into computing. Okay, the essential thing that's good is to have math at least to the level of algebra. And higher education, UWM, MSOE, we can get you the rest of the way. Okay, it's great to have a head start, but please don't tell people that they can't do it. Okay, do what you can to tell them it's important. I love all that stuff on why. Tell them that they can do it. Okay, because we have the support services now to help people, even if they didn't have the head start that you might get in New Berlin. That's it.
Appreciate that, Susan. That's a great final thought there. And I'm going to remove your spotlight and bring up Tom from Marquette. Once I can find your thing.
I'm there someplace.
There you go. All right, you're all good.
Thank you. So I'm Tom Kaczmarek from Marquette University, and I think most of the people participating in this are familiar with the university and the vast array of things that we do. We clearly interact with many students in the high school and middle school arena. We have things that start with our economic opportunities, our educational opportunity program, the EOP that's been around for 50 years as an upward bound process that and classes and camps that run from middle school on up. And I think that's certainly something that people in K-12 education should understand that they can take advantage of that by contacting our EOP people. I think everybody's familiar with all of the work that Dennis Brilow has done in computer science education. Most recently, Dennis has been working with our College of Education to actually have a undergraduate degree that would be aimed at people who want to be computer science educators, which I think is I understood from him yesterday that was maybe a first of its kind, certainly at Marquette, maybe in the state, that really prepare people for licensure in that area. We have a wealth of other programs, data science, undergraduate, graduate level, bioinformatics. Similarly, we have applied statistics courses. Our data science degree also includes a certificate at a graduate level. I'm personally interested in CS for All, and one of the things that I've been working on for the last 8 years or so, I guess, is a program that we refer to as COSMIC, which is a Change Opportunity Start Masters in Computing. This is an NSF-funded project, provides CS at all levels. And Todd Mel talked earlier, McLeese talked earlier about people changing careers and whatnot and understanding what they want to do in their life later in life. And you know, I'm very enthusiastic about the state of Wisconsin efforts to provide computer science education, but there are a lot of us who missed that opportunity, so we offer an opportunity for adults to transition into computing. And computing is a sum of computer science, computer engineering, information technology, information systems, and software engineering. That's as defined by the educational authorities in the higher education space. We have programs in information technology and information systems also at many different levels that exist in our College of Business Administration. Our College of Engineering certainly has computer engineering degrees. So there's many opportunities, but I think the thing that's most relevant to the folks that are assembled here today is to realize that we do things like run cybersecurity camps. We've been running Gen Cyber and Cyber Patriot camps for several years. Those are opportunities for your students to get some hands-on experience while they're still in formative ages. And that's probably the thing that's most relevant to this audience. And with that, I'll stop.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Tom. Appreciate all the updates as to what Marquette's doing. I'll remove your spotlight, and folks, just like the last couple of hours here, we're going to be doing some breakout rooms. So we want to allow you some time to continue those discussions. I've got them set for 10 minutes here, and so we'll be back together at 2 o'clock to continue our final hour of programming. But I hope you can make some good connections. We can hear, again, as I posted in the chat, from Kelly, from Susan, Tom, Liz, and Joe. I'm going to open these up. If you want me to manually place you in a room, please feel free to just message me in the chat and I can pop you right in there. Otherwise, you should be able to select a room to go into.